Austin police officers and all law enforcement now face a no-win scenario that is unsafe for the public and officers.
Public safety concerns from an officer's point of view, why the Austin Police Union says APD should stop responding to mental health calls.
And the search for a killer and the person who may help police find whoever shot the CEO of United Healthcare in the streets of New York.
We'll be turning much colder and then eventually much wetter. We'll take you through both impactful weather changes in First Warning Weather.
I believe the Austin Police Department must stop responding to mental health calls.
First tonight, after an Austin police officer was fired today after a deadly conduct conviction, the head of the police union says he doesn't want to see officers responding to any more mental health calls. Michael Bullock, president of the Austin Police Association, is publicly calling on APD to stop having officers respond to those calls.
And we first told you about this breaking news earlier tonight at 6. The APA president made his case with this video release on social media. Bullock says the Travis County District Attorney should take on the risk when a mental health call comes in.
We have never claimed to be mental health experts, yet we are continually scrutinized for our handling of these situations. Now that we're left with the options of being stabbed or going to prison, Travis County and the district attorney's office should be the ones who incur the risk, since they know the best tactics and methods protecting the public.
Now, in that video, APA President Bullock referenced the sentencing of APD officer Christopher Taylor, who was formally terminated today from the department. Yesterday, a judge sentenced Taylor to 2 years in prison on a deadly conduct charge.
And he's currently out on an appellate bond. Taylor's sentence stems from the 2019 police shooting of Maurice Da Silva. Police responded to 911 calls reporting Da Silva walking around his downtown condo complex with a knife to his throat. When police confronted Da Silva, they told him to drop the knife, and Taylor and another officer ultimately shot and killed him. KXAN reached out to the DA's office asking for their reaction to the police union's push to no longer have officers respond to mental health calls.
A spokesperson with the DA's office did not directly answer our question, but did send us a statement saying, quote, in this case, a Travis County jury heard all the evidence, and Mr. Taylor was sentenced by a Travis County judge. Respect for the criminal justice process is a cornerstone of our democracy, and it is unfortunate that the APA has chosen not to respect the jury verdict in this case. In Travis County, no one is above the law, regardless of profession, income, or class. We also reached out to the Austin Police Department for their response. We'll let you know when we hear back.
If Austin police were to stop responding to mental health calls, here's a snapshot of the potential impact. We looked at data from the City of Austin's APD mental health first response incidents. The most recent data this year, starting from January through the end of October, shows there were 28,558 incidents. Of those incidents, no officers were injured or killed. Data does show that one subject was either injured or killed. The top 3 types of initial incidents were welfare check calls, followed by disturbance incidents, and then trespassing.
Also new tonight, there's a new resource aimed at helping people who are homeless and living off the grid. Nabil
Ramadna shows us some of the new systems in place that could help connect people living in some of the hardest places for homeless service providers to get to.
In Austin, any given night, there's 5,000 to 6,000 people experiencing homelessness in our streets. And we only have about 1,000 shelter beds.
You'll find many of those people down on their luck turning to places like Sunrise Homeless Navigation Center. Mark Hilbelink, the man in charge.
We're trying to move from a disconnected system to a very interconnected and coordinated system.
That means connecting more facilities that have been created to help the homeless. Places like the North and South Bridge shelters, the Marshalling Yard, the Arch, and 8th Street shelters, which is run by Urban Alchemy. These are places Greg McCormick with the Homeless Strategy Office says are crucial to getting people off the streets.
We know that being in shelter is a much easier place for the case managers to be able to engage with those individuals.
And the city is adding a new resource. Hilbelink says Sunrise has a new hotline to help those trying to get into the Arch and 8th Street shelters.
It provides a kind of an always-on access point for people who are experiencing homelessness to be able to call and get information and to be able to do all of the things that they would do at an in-person location.
A much-needed tool given many people live deep in the woods or aren't close to providers. But there's a limit to the access. The wait list closes once it reaches 200 people and reopens once it reaches 50 people.
Our goal is to increase our shelter capacity so that more individuals can access shelter.
But until then, staying connected is key.
Finding people in a world where you have to look in 100 different places just creates a mass inefficiency.
Nabil Ramadna, KXAN News.
Hillbilink is also working on setting up pods around the city, which will allow people experiencing homelessness to video call their hotline. He wants to focus on areas like hospitals, libraries, and jail.
Well, it was a rainy start to the day here throughout much of Central Texas, and that rain turned into more of a light mist and drizzle during the afternoon. This is what it looked like on Mopac near Enfield toward the end of the day before the sun eventually went down. Some of that drizzle has continued into this evening. Drizzle, not something that you're going to see on radar as it forms so low to the ground, but we know it's out there. However, we're starting to see it less and less as the atmosphere tries to dry out. Still plenty of clouds overhead. There's some areas of fog, though. 5 miles of visibility at the airport, 4 at Camp Mabry, just 1.5 in Lago Vista, and Burnett down to less than a mile of visibility. So the low clouds generating some of that drizzle. But we do think that things dry out slowly overnight. Most of our temperatures are in the middle and upper 50s. There's a few spots in the 40s, though, already. We think we get down to 52 tomorrow morning. Still some patches of drizzle and sprinkles overnight, just not as wet as it was earlier today. Coming up in First Warning Weather, we'll keep tracking the slow drying into your Thursday as we get a break from the wet weather that we had here today. And then a cold front brings us the coldest high temperatures of the season, the coldest highs since late February, in fact, and then we'll be tracking a wetter and chillier end to the week and into the weekend. And as another winter season just begins here now, the First Warning Weather team wants to keep you prepared. Join us here tomorrow night for our winter outlook with a specific expectation for our coldest season.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. 2 elementary children were shot today after a gunman opened fire at a Northern California school. This happened at the Feather River School of Seventh-day Adventists, and the 2 children with gunshot wounds were taken to hospitals. Police say officers found a man with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. The gunman is not believed to be affiliated with the school. Police have not said anything yet about a motive. There are 35 students total at this school from grades K through 8th.
Well, the manhunt tonight continues in New York for the gunman caught on video shooting and killing the CEO of United Healthcare. Police are also trying to find a witness, a woman who was standing just feet away from the gunman, and she ran away when the shots rang out. Police say this was a targeted attack. The healthcare executive Brian Thompson was headed to an investor conference at the Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan around 6:40 in the morning when he was shot. Police say the attacker was dressed all in black, wearing a distinctive gray backpack during the shooting. He ran across the street and then jumped on an e-bike and was last seen entering Central Park a few blocks away.
I hear the shot, and when I look at the guy was a gun, like the silent gun, got like a black gun. And I saw him after he shot him, he ran across the street this way.
Police found 3 bullet casings and a cell phone at the scene. In a brief interview, Thompson's wife told NBC News her husband had recently received some threats, but she did not elaborate. Thompson was 50 years old. There is a $10,000 reward for information which helps capture his killer.
As families gather for the holiday season, it's a good opportunity to check on senior family members, especially for changes that could indicate the onset of Alzheimer's or dementia. Because these conditions develop slowly, changes may be more obvious after spending time apart. Early signs of dementia can include memory loss, confusion, and difficulty keeping up in a conversation. They may also cause some people to neglect their hygiene or wear clothing that is not suited for the weather. If you have to bring up the subject with your family member, be gentle.
Being calm and understanding and just, asking them open-ended questions. How are you feeling? Are you noticing any changes with your memory? How are you keeping up with your daily task?
While everyone experiences changes as they age, agitation and personality changes can indicate that their symptoms are not just from aging, but come from Alzheimer's or dementia. Testing from a healthcare professional can help you be sure. A massage business in Austin just got shut down, suspected of human trafficking.
KXAN's Sarah Alsheh takes an in-depth look at how a new law is prompting more of these closures.
You can't take the sticker off. You can't open for business.
This massage business in North Austin now closed for 6 months, ordered to shut down during an investigation by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation.
The person who runs the establishment is not allowed to be involved in any massage establishment business, doing massages, hiring other people to do massages.
In late October, the state agency received a complaint from a customer.
The employee who was providing the massage offered to perform sexual services on them. They did not want that, and so they got up and got dressed and left.
The TDLR did an on-site inspection.
They found that there were people living in the massage establishment. That's not allowed.
It also says it found items indicating sexual activities happened there. The closure, not a surprise to a manager of the business next door.
Never saw any of the employees leaving. Once a week, it would be the male owner that would come with his car and bring a bunch of groceries inside. The customers that would go in were just all males, pretty much 90% of males.
The TDLR has issued 16 similar emergency orders across the state since last September. That's when HB 3579 went into effect, allowing the executive director to issue these if law enforcement or the agency believes there's human trafficking.
The vast majority of these cases where we have issued emergency orders, the owners of the establishments have opted to get out of the massage business and the massage industry in Texas.
This now the 6th massage business in Austin to receive an emergency order, ultimately leaving the neighboring business relieved it's being addressed.
I was waiting for the day to happen, honestly.
Sarah Alsheh, KXAN News.
And the department says the 6-month closure gives them time to continue investigating and decide if there need to be any additional penalties. KXAN reached out to the business. We have not yet heard back.
Buying a Mega Millions ticket this week could end up being the best holiday gift if you win. The jackpot is now at $579 million after no winning number was picked in last night's drawing. This jackpot is now the 10th largest in Mega Millions history. The next drawing is this Friday. This year you have the option to either walk through the Trail of Lights or take the Zilker Eagle mini train through parts of the holiday display. The train is going to run from 6 to 9:30 in the evening and will cost the same as regular daylight hours. The tickets are first come, first served at the train depot by the playground at Zilker Park. By the way, the Trail of Lights runs from December 10th through December 23rd.
And also the Walkway of Lights is back for its 34th year at the Marble Falls Lakeside Park. 300 figures light up the night with Christmas classics like Santa and the Grinch and Jewish symbols like the dreidel and menorah. You can enjoy it every night from 6 p.m. to 10. It's $2 a person. It's going to run through January 4th. And if that is not enough, there's also an ice rink right next to the Walkway of Lights. That's open from 5 to 10 p.m. And then if you get too chilly, there have some local nonprofits out there. They're running stands with hot cocoa, coffee, and other treats. Of course, Santa Claus is there. He's in his workshop every Friday and Saturday leading up to Christmas. And he, of course, he's always ready for pictures.
Can't wait for this. And we have to make a date to all go out there. We should. We'll go to the Trail of Lights, obviously. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many light options to see. Even just drive around your own neighborhood. There's some good stuff out there, too. Hey, let's take it out to our Austonian weather camera here this evening. Earlier this evening, it was really hard to see even some of these closer buildings thanks to the low cloudiness, the fog, and the drizzle. But as the lower levels of the atmosphere have been drying out, we've been able to see this lower cloud deck lifting off the ground, taking away the fog, taking away at least some of the drizzle. And that drying process will continue. Of course, it looks like it's already dry on clouds and radar because that drizzle near the ground just doesn't get picked up all that well. But there goes the rain that we had earlier. And we've got a cold front to the north of us that's going to be dropping down to help force the moisture that's left, the drizzle that's left, down to the south of us. So that'll be drying us out overnight and into the day tomorrow. There still may be a few sprinkles or patches of drizzle early tomorrow morning. But then as we head through the day, we dry out. We may even get a few breaks in the clouds during the afternoon. Still, overall, it's a mostly cloudy day tomorrow, but a mostly dry one. Then the clouds start to make a return as we head into Friday. Friday morning looks mostly cloudy, but dry. We get into Friday afternoon and early evening. We start to see some scattered showers coming back. There may even be an isolated thunderstorm. More rounds of showers here into Friday night. So if you got Friday night plans, there may be some rain involved there. And then it gets even wetter on Saturday with more rounds of scattered showers, thunderstorms, and even periods of heavier rain. It does look like we'll get the bulk of our rain over the next week on Saturday, even into early Sunday. Still rounds of showers and storms Saturday afternoon, Saturday night as well. How much rain do we get here tonight? Very little. Just some drizzle, amounts to a few hundredths of an inch at most. Then on Friday, the amounts have trended down a little bit. I think it's generally less than a quarter of an inch for most of us. So that's the near term there. There's also that colder air that's going to be coming in with just one cold front, but also a reinforcing shot of colder air later in the day tomorrow. So 50s overnight, 50s through the morning tomorrow, low 60s in the afternoon. Of course, this is after our morning cold front, but then the cold air just keeps filling in. Low 40s and 30s to start your Friday morning, and then highs Friday afternoon only in the low 50s. That will be the coldest high temperatures we've had since the end of last winter. So an early sprinkle tomorrow, a lot of clouds, highs of 62. Some spots don't quite get out of the 50s. It'll be touch and go for some of you. And then things get increasingly wet through the day on Friday. Rounds of rain and storms on Saturday on what should be our wettest day of the week ahead. And then there'll be some leftover rain Sunday morning before that clears out. So when we add up all these rain chances, where do we see the highest rain chances? Well, late Friday through most of Saturday into the first half of Sunday. Does look like second half of Sunday dries out. Most of us end up with a quarter inch to an inch. I think many of us will be closer to that inch mark. And then in our eastern counties, 1 to 2 inches of rain. Of course, there could always be some localized higher amounts. But remember, most of those higher totals will come with Saturday's rain. Sunday, showers and storms left over for the morning. Drying later in the day, mid-60s, then 70s Monday, ahead of another cold front that knocks us back down into the 60s and 50s.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
UT men's basketball trying to go 7-1 on the young season, facing NC State in the SEC ACC Challenge tonight. Great night from freshman Trey Johnson for the Longhorns. He's got 18 points, 4 of 6 from three-point range. Texas right now holding on to a 61-59 lead, 17 seconds left. NC State does have the ball, it looks like, though. So see if Texas can hold on. All right, the women now, the competition level of teams facing fourth-ranked Texas is rising. On Sunday, the Longhorns took down a ranked team to sweep the Gulf Coast Classic. Tomorrow, Texas will face 10th-ranked Notre Dame on the road. Things have been going as well as can be for the Horns as they are perfect on the season, as another non-conference test will be very much welcome.
I'm super excited to play Notre Dame. You know, they have had a really big season, and coming off these last 2 losses, I know they're going to come out swinging. So I'm just super excited to play in a really competitive game with everybody.
I mean, it's still really early, but I'm really encouraged with this team. I love this group. They are a lot of fun. Lots of personalities, but I love their competitive spirit.
Football, Texas is getting ready for the SEC championship game, and the Longhorns are hoping the second time around is much better than their first meeting with the Bulldogs. Noah Gross has more.
Just about a month and a half ago, a hungry Georgia squad came to Austin and really dominated Texas here in DKR, giving the Longhorns their only loss of this 2024 season. Steve Sarkisian and this Texas group has been clear. They knew they needed to win out after that Georgia game to ensure they get a spot in Atlanta for the SEC championship game. They did that, and Steve Sarkisian says the biggest thing he learned about his team since then, it's the player leadership that has stepped up more than ever.
It was smooth sailing there for a while. And then when you get hit in the mouth and you stumble and you fall, you know, as I touched on, we had to get back up. We had to get back up quickly, and we had to go compete again. And I thought that this team did that.
Just trying to be more vocal and just kind of be more positive. You always try to stay positive in tough games or whatever's going on. I feel like that kind of helped the team.
Just our urgency level on how we do things. If your urgency level is high for wanting success, you don't tolerate certain things, and you have a different approach to certain things.
Saturday, basically a road game for the Longhorns. Athens awfully close to Atlanta, so a lot more Georgia fans expected at the SEC championship game. The Longhorns have talked this whole season about how they thrive in that road environment. Saturday against Texas A&M, an example. Steve Sarkisian saying when his team was driving the bus around campus and saw all the horns down and everything from the Texas A&M fans, that helped them lock in and know what they needed to do Saturday, where they got a win in College Station. For now at DKR Texas Memorial Stadium, Noah Gross, KXAN News.
Texas has signed 24 players during the early signing period, which began today and runs through Friday. One of the top-ranked players in the state is officially coming to the 40 acres as the Longhorns signed Michael Terry III out of Alamo Heights in San Antonio. According to 24/7 Sports, Terry III is the #1 athlete, and he is in the top 25 of ranking of players overall. He can play running back or receiver, and he picked Texas over Nebraska and Oregon.
Really just their, way of developing players. I just want to go somewhere where I can really show my best side and just get the best out of, what I can. UT's, once in a lifetime school, and, you can't miss that opportunity.
Over at Lake Travis and Westlake, several other athletes signed their letters of intent to play college ball, with players signing with USC, East Carolina, Baylor, Duke, Air Force Academy, Stephen F. Austin, and Army. So congratulations to them.
And thanks so much for joining us for KXAN News at 10 o'clock. Remember, you can catch our latest headlines on KXAN.com. Our next newscast is at 4:30 a.m. Have a great night.